Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei was the grandson of Yhwach, Part 4. Now, before I continue on with this Part 4, I want to mention something real fast. So I'm still sick, somewhat. I'm not that sick, but I'm still sick. I couldn't really go to sleep. I couldn't really relax and try to mostly take care of my sickness. The reason why is because, well, a lot of shit happened. So I had to go through so many shoe stores, not for me. Actually, not exactly for me, because fuck that. I don't give a damn about shoes that much. If it was me for my shoes, I would have just said I just want plain black shoes and done. Or whatever type of shoes, I don't give a damn. Give me whatever. Just not the very bright, ugly ones. So, yeah, I just want plain ones. And definitely not white. I'm kind of picky. Yeah, now that I think about it, I'm kind of picky. But I don't want white. I don't want the extremely bright, ugly ones. The reason why is because, well, I don't really like bright colors, especially white. And white usually gets dirty way too easily. So I don't want to just keep washing them. So, yeah. So, not the point. But, yeah, I just had to go through so many shoe stores. Literally had to go to that place and then another one and then another one. I probably wasted 2 bars of gas, so yeah, but not the point, or 2, yeah, not the point. So let me just continue on with this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. I know I'm rambling on right now, and I am still sick, so fair warning if I'm gonna cough throughout this video, but not the point. Now, I should also mention, yes, I'm gonna still continue on with the what if Issei had the, well, mostly had the One Piece system, because it seems like a lot of you motherfuckers like that shit. A lot of you really want me to still continue it on, and some of you kind of say, well, so a lot of you really want me to just continue it on. Don't worry, I'll continue it on tomorrow, part 2, maybe. I also wanted to continue on part 2 of what if Takemichi had a heavily restriction, because on that one I'm actually going to add some few characters from different animes. I mean, I already added kind of Junko and Enoshima from mostly Danganronpa, but not the point. Mostly she's going to be somewhat of an antagonist to Takemichi, but not much. But not the point. I'll mention her a little bit later, but mostly I'm going to be adding other characters from different animes. Probably some of them are going to be from either One Punch Man, Bleach, and other characters. But they won't exactly have their same kind of mostly the same power level as, well, in their own anime, their abilities, their supernatural abilities and what. So not the point. I'm not gonna spoil it any more ahead, because mostly, yeah, I have an idea, and then maybe I might go through that. Maybe never mind. I'm just gonna continue on with this what if. So let me shut the fuck up and let me begin. So we begin into mostly a woman right now screaming angrily. And of course, she has kind of longish brownish hair, similar to that of Yhwach. Mostly it's a little bit darker, but not that dark. It's still brown. It shows to be brown. It's not black. But this is where, well, it kind of does look like Yhwach's kind of younger self when he did kind of have brownish hair somewhat. But of course, okay, I don't even know why I thought that Zangetsu actually had brown hair. So never mind. Just ignore the fact that I just said, yeah, you never mind. I mean, then again, it does look brownish, blackish. And I'm just gonna say it's kind of look like that. But not the point. So it mostly kind of does look like Zangetsu's kind of brownish hair. I mean, it probably was just the coloring of trying to making it black, but not the point. So, not the point. But mostly, it does kind of look like Yhwach's kind of longish hair. But this is where, well, the lady is right now screaming at both her husband and her mostly not grandfather, her father, not father figure, but father. And of course, from the fact she is so angry and enraged from the fact that she missed one birthday of her son, who is now considered to be 18 and not 17 no more. This is where, well, she's furious, and now, well, we go into, well, the POV of, well, some of the Hyoto family. But yeah, we go into mostly a mall, because, well, the mall is shopping time. But yeah, we go into 3 mostly male figures. One who is actually looks to be 6'1" and actually now taller than his father. But of course, this is where, well, he has kind of whitish brownish hair, mostly whitish kind of longish hair, similar to that of this, but still has some brown tints to it, but not the point. This is where, well, It does kind of look spiky a little bit to that of mostly Gorgeous, but yeah, you don't need to think about it like that. He does have dark shades for his mostly eyes, because mostly his eyes does get hurt a lot when he uses them, because, well, he doesn't want to use them, but he has them because, but yeah, it's part of one of his abilities, but not the point. This is where, well, he's wearing mostly like this white uniform somewhat, or pretty much it's just casual kind of uniform. It kind of looks like this. So it kind of straight up looks like this. So mostly this is how Yhwach will be dressing up in the human world. And yes, this is how mostly Issei is dressing up. But yeah, not the point. This is where, well, it's none other than Issei who is actually dressed up like that. He's kind of wearing black and also a black mask. Because, well, he's actually a lot scared and mostly from his mother. And of course, he doesn't really like showing his face too much because he has become much more handsomer than normal. Of course, mostly his hair did become a little bit longer, almost reaching down towards like his upper back. But that's not the point here or there. This is where, well, he is right next to his father. Mostly his father has a bump on top of his head. Now his father looks to have mostly like a lightish brownish hair tint. He does have glasses. He is also wearing kind of like this nice kind of like outfit just because they're at the mall. And this is where, well, he does have a bump in his head, and of course his glasses seem to be almost broken. And this is where, well, he's actually terrified of his wife. Now his mostly Issei's father is actually the height of being like 5'10", but not the point. He's actually shorter than his son. This is where, well, mostly next to him is none other than, well, Issei's grandfather. Now, I should also mention Issei's father's name Gorohiro, but not the point. Now, of course, next to Gorohiro is actually Yhwach. Now, Yhwach does have 2 bumps on his head. Of course, he's actually crying and terrified of mostly his daughter, because his daughter reminded him way too much of like his wife, who actually always does kind of punish him if he did anything stupid. But yeah. Now, of course, Yhwach kind of cries because, yes, he misses his wife a lot, but not the point. Or, well, mostly, not really misses, well, yeah, misses wife because, yes, his wife did kind of die by kind of giving, well, not birth too much. She kind of got killed by a Shinigami, but yeah, not the point. This is where, oh, Issei is right now kind of sweat dropping at his mother, who his mother was, she literally became the goddamn devil for a second and literally beat the shit out of his father and his grandfather, which scared the shit out of him. Literally, what Issei saw from his mother was their eyes glowing blue, a very brightish, darkish blue at the same time. Of course, both of them. This is where she actually appeared into going into a Quincy form. And this is where, well, what I mean a Quincy form, she appeared having like 10 kind of Quincy wings behind her. Kind of like, yeah, 10-ish kind of like darkish blue Quincy wings. This is where, well, they're all made of energy. She also then managed to make a sword that's quite powerful. It's almost the same kind of powerful sword that he kind of got him from his, like, well, mostly grandfather. Not the super wing back blade. No, it's not that one. That's mostly his grandfather's, but not the point. But of course, where, well, he noticed the sword was quite powerful from his mother, and his mother was no slacker in her Quincy power, so of course she is quite very powerful. So of course, where, well, she was also quite scary with the letter of power that she had, because, well, she didn't really entirely have one, but she does. I'll mention what it is, but she was she was just terrifying in it. This is where, well, she kind of beat the shit out of mostly Yhwach and even, well, Goro. The reason why she kind of had to hurt her husband was, well, because he was in it. He was okay with just like letting Issei go train with Yhwach if he awakens his powers, which Mika never was okay with. She hated, she never wanted Issei to awaken his powers because, well, she was too scared if he would have to be in danger or any of that. Of course, she would then find after managing to kind of get talked by her son after a while, mostly back at the house. So that's why mostly Issei's grandfather and even his father have like bumps on their head, while Issei's fine but just terrified of his mother because he never expected his mother to be this powerful, much more powerful than him, which scares him a lot. This is where, well, which he's also grateful that he doesn't have bumps in his head, but yeah. Of course, he's also quite happy that his mother is quite powerful, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly they are kind of at the mall to kind of buy clothing for mostly Issei. The reason why is because he grew a couple inches, and also from the fact that he's older and probably mostly his size is probably different, but yeah. But of course, well, Mika was actually dragging Issei into multiple shops, while mostly Issei kind of begged his mostly grandfather or even his like father to help him, but that didn't work out. So of course Issei had to go through multiple like stores for like shopping. Even though Issei wanted to go plain, his mother refused because, well, she wanted to kind of get somewhat like bright clothing at the same time, not really bright clothing. Like mostly it was either orange or green, and of course Issei didn't really like orange or green. Of course he asked his mother if he can get like either black or white, which his mother kind of sighs and decides to be okay with it. Of course, this is where Issei says, what about bright kind of black bluish lighter shirt? This is where, well, his mother was okay with now him kind of shopping because mostly Issei was just kind of saying that this is something and other things. Of course, this is where Mika, every time she kind of sees what's it called, her baby boy kind of like pick out the clothing, she can't just like stop but just cry because she missed her baby boy being a normal child, then instead of being this Quincy warrior. This is where, well, she kind of does burst into crying because she misses her baby boy. And of course, this is where, well, she then has an idea to kind of make Issei kind of either have a child with someone to just bring grandkids. Because, well, she's still kind of perverted like that in the original canon. This is where, well, she just really hopes that mostly whoever Issei kind of chooses will be a good, well, mostly wife towards Issei. But yeah, because she's still kind of, well, mostly, even though Azia, as you mentioned, Azia and the others don't really live inside the house of the Hyodo. Mostly the house of the Hyodos, they did kind of move. Now, the reason why they moved is because, well, the old house is kind of run by devils. But of course, they never were actually living there. That was never their actual, like, true, like, house place. And, well, mostly when they live in Kuo. Because they actually never truly live in Kuo. Mostly, they only went to Kuo after, well, mostly Issei's grandfather stopped visiting them. But yeah, that's why that house is considered to be a Hyodo house, but really it wasn't because, well, the original house that they lived was actually a mansion. But yeah, it's actually further from any other person, but not the point. And also this, they also do kind of have like guards of like Quincy guards that usually protect there, just in case any other species want to go fuck with them. But yeah, but not the point. But of course, well, Issei is right now shopping for mostly his clothing. That's where, well, Issei sighs and just trying to look for his clothing. That's where he looks for the size. He then asks mostly an assistant for help. This is where, well, the assistant was a girl with kind of like brownish hair. Beautiful kind of like longish brown hair. Kind of brown, well, not longish brown hair. Mostly she did kind of had it in the kind of like pigtails. Somewhat, but of course, like brownish bangs kind of flowing down and other things. She also had kind of honey brown eyes. This is where, well, she was wearing the kind of assistant, kind of like clothing manager kind of clothing. And of course, she was helping mostly Issei with mostly his clothing. Now, of course, mostly Issei already noticed who exactly this person is, and he's just switched up into hoping that she doesn't actually notice who exactly he is. So this person is none other than Moriyama, while mostly Moriyama does not know this is Issei. Mostly, she hasn't really seen Issei in a month, considered to be the fact that he has actually been gone for a year, but not the point. But this is where, well, mostly Moriyama says, okay, so would that be all the mostly clothing that you will actually buy? This is where, well, it was a lot of clothing, but not the point. Mostly, Moriyama is just kind of wondering, wow, that this male is kind of handsome. Mostly, even though she can't see his eyes, she can kind of see the kind of skin underneath, mostly in the upper face. His hair is quite interesting also. It's kind of like whitish, silverish with brownish a little bit. But this is where, well, she also noticed that he's wearing a face mask, which she's kind of saddened. She would have loved to see his kind of face. But this is where, well, the person is right now kind of grabbing something from his wallet. He then puts the wallet down on, what's it called? Down on the like table, like the table, desk, whatever. And this is where, well, mostly Moriyama kind of managed to take a glance at his ID. And this is where, well, mostly the reason why mostly Issei puts it down on there, mostly in the desk, is because he was counting the money that he has. This is where, well, he was just kind of wondering how much money he had. This is where, well, when Moriyama kind of took a glance at mostly Issei's ID while Issei was counting, she widened her eyes. What it said was basically Issei Hyodo. she never expected this person to be Issei Hiro because she hasn't seen him for 1 month. But this is where, well, Issei was kind of like saying 1, 2, 3. This is where, well, Issei decides to give the money that he thinks it will be enough. Which, not really thinks he counted, but yeah. This is where, oh, mostly he then grabs his wallet, kind of like opens it, put the money back, the remaining money that he had, and just waits for mostly Maruyama to count the money and just like mostly get the remaining money and give it to Issei. This is where, well, she kind of gives it to Issei, the remaining money, and this is where, well, mostly Issei thanks Maruyama a lot. While mostly before Issei leaves, mostly Maruyama says, "Wait, Issei-kun." This is where Issei right now freezes up. He does have the kind of bags on his like side of his like mostly person. And this is where he turns around and just looks at Maruyama and says, "Huh? Did you say something?" This is where mostly Issei wants to just play it off because, well, for some reason he's just going to play that off like he doesn't know who exactly Issei is. But this is where, well, Maruyama looks at Issei, and this is where, well, she then sighs and says, "So, you are Issei." Sorry, my name isn't Issei. My name is, shit, what the hell should I call myself? Not Urahara. Mostly he's thinking about something. He's like, my name is, this is where, well, Issei thinks about it and just like, this is where, well, Issei says, the name's Ryuniki. This is where, well, mostly Maruyama says, okay, what's your last name? Ishida. This is where, well, mostly Issei thinks of that like name. This is where, well, mostly Maruyama says, okay, Ryuki Ishida, tell me, can I see your ID? And this is where, well, Issei says, no, because you didn't ask for it, and I'd rather not show you my ID because I don't want to be scam or any of that. Issei kind of said. This is where Maruyama says, okay, fine, you can leave then. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, other than that, bye. This is where, well, Issei starts walking away. Of course, he's sweat dropping a lot from the fact that he almost got caught by Maruyama. And of course, truly, he doesn't want to go back to school because, well, if he goes back to school, mostly everyone's going to question and why the hell he looks so differently and why the fuck he look now. He like, well, looks like an 18-year-old because he is, but not the point. This is where, well, Issei kind of gets outside. This is where, well, his mother kind of checks on the clothing that he got. And this is where, well, she then smiles. And this is where, well, she then snaps her fingers. And this is where two kind of Quincy guards appear. This is where the two Quincy guards appear out of nowhere. Of course, no one did kind of like see them. This is where, well, the two Quincy guards nodded and, of course, took the clothing that mostly Issei had. And, of course, disappeared before anyone can even see what the hell they went or appear or in the first place. Whatever. This is where, well, mostly, what's it called? Mika Hiro kind of said, okay, well, next shop. This is where, well, the shoe shop. This is where, well, Issei sweats up and says, please, mother, stop making me go to everywhere place. This is where, well, mostly Issei thinks in his head. He doesn't say that out loud. Yhwach is just there for the mostly ride. Of course, he's there because it's mostly his grandson. He just wants to spend mostly kind of like grandfatherly time with mostly his like family. Of course, not with Goro that much, but of course he can just stand Goro a little bit, but not much. This is where, well, mostly Issei is sweat dropping. Of course, this is where, well, Mika says, okay, I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom. You help him out with his like shoes, okay? This is where, well, mostly Mika kind of said to her father. This is where, well, mostly her father says, okay, fine. Of course, this is where when both Issei and Yhwach kind of goes inside. Of course, they look similar, the same, but mostly just because of their longish hair, but not from the color of the hair. Now, of course, if Issei still had his brownish eyes, they would look kind of similar, same. But of course, Issei's crystallized blue eyes does not allow him to kind of look similar, the same. So, of course, mostly they go in, and of course, this is where Yhwach says, okay, what pairs of shoes would you want? This is where, well, Issei says, I'm not really good at like finding good pairs of shoes. I don't really know anything about this. This is where, well, mostly Yhwach says, yeah, I would, I don't know why we even went in here when these are like all modern shoes. Yeah, exactly, I don't, I guess, this is so going to be annoying the whole day. Yhwach says, that is true, but don't let your, mother hear that. Because if my daughter hears it, she's going to go ballistic. This is where he says switch up and says that is true. I should probably not say that. Exactly. This is where, well, mostly they kind of look for the shoes that mostly Issei would probably want, but yeah. Of course, they did get like a couple of pairs, and this is where, since mostly the Quincy's are kind of rich because, well, even though they're from a different dimension entirely, they do go to the human world, and of course they are quite filthy rich. Mostly Yhwach does look like a goddamn mafia boss, which he kind of does look like a goddamn mafia boss, while mostly Issei does look like a kind of like child of like somewhat of a mafia, but not the point. Of course, where, well, mostly they're looking around, and this is where, well, they did get the shoes and other things. Of course, you have out there kind of bring the guards, who you usually just hear mostly when Yhwach or even Mika kind of just snap their fingers. They basically just call out guards by using a bit of Rialto when they snap their fingers. When they do that, mostly the guards are usually around them will actually get notified and of course like come to their aid silently so no human will actually see them, and then grab the luggage and mostly stuff that mostly Issei bought and bring them back to the house, mostly the mansion that they live at. But yeah, but of course the work well. With that happening, mostly Mika nods and says, "Okay, so what is next in our shopping list?" That's where Issei says, "Some food, please. I'm dying." That's where mostly Issei is right now kind of getting hungry. While Mika says, "That is true. We will go get something to eat first and then we will continue shopping, okay?" This is where Issei says, "Sure, mother." This is where mostly Issei is just starving. Because he has been here for a while and he usually doesn't like shopping too much at all. So of course mostly Mika says, "Okay, so I will be going to get food with mostly your father. You two will mostly go go deal with something. I know you, how about you're going to get a call." This is where Yhwach says, "How did you, oh right, I forgot about your ability. Never mind." This is where Yhwach gets a call mostly from his phone, but yeah, he does have a phone, but not the point. While mostly Goro and what's it called, Mika kind of walks away to go get something to eat. Of course, to bring also something for Issei. While Issei is sitting down in confusement on what to do, he could call his friends, mostly could call, what's it called, his two old perverted idiot friends, but they're not truly his friends no more, because he feels too distant from them anyway. He doesn't really care. He could call, well, mostly, actually no, because, well, what happened with him and Ria's Gremory is a little confusing. You see here, we go into a flashback, and what exactly happened with him. Back at the meeting, when Issei was considered to be the Prince of Light, and mostly considered to be a Quincy now, mostly a, well yeah, Quincy, in the Alliance and other things, Reyes demanded Issei to become back into her pawn, and mostly just stay into her pawn and other things, because she was actually getting excited from the fact that Issei was actually considered to be strong. But before she can even dare like go up to Issei, Jogram actually appears having the sword right up to Gremory's throat in an instant, because well, Jogram doesn't like anyone who dares like step in front of Issei. None of the Quincy's would take any lightly to anyone that steps right in front of Issei, because mostly they think of both Yhwach and Issei like royalty. So that's the case. Yhwach to be your majesty, while Issei to be the prince, but not the point. This where, well, mostly Reyes was just shocked and actually dumbfounded, while mostly Kiba and the others were actually about to attack mostly Jogram, but this where, well, mostly Basil B and also what's it called? What was his name? Oh, wait. Quill also appeared. This where, well, mostly Basil sent a burning finger straight towards mostly, or mostly points his fingers towards mostly the barrage, while Quill actually appears with mostly chains of Rialto, just in case they actually dare to attack. This is where, well, mostly all of them were just frozen in shock, and this is where, well, Issei looks at Rias and says, "Sorry, Rias. The reason, well, This is where, well, Issei kind of like pushes a little bit of his hair from his face, and this is where, well, showing off his glasses, and of course, is where, well, not showing off his eyes. Issei says, interesting offer there, Rias, but I refuse. Reason one is because you let me die in, well, how should I say, in the kind of murder, well, I should say, considered to be mostly murder a little bit, don't you think? Because the fact that you could have killed the fallen angels before letting me die, or even letting Ozzyr die. So it's kind of considered murder. I'd rather not be with a murderer who literally let me die. This is where Rias was stunned to believe that Issei already found out about the secret. Everyone was shocked, and this is where, well, we'll see. Some of the high-ranking devils were going to kind of ask Issei to kind of join back into Rias' barrage, but they were shocked, and this is where, well, Yhwach sends a bit of his power upon the devils and everyone else. This is where, well, when he sent a bit of his power, they were all dominated straight to the ground. Mostly pushed down to the ground, feeling mostly the true anger of Yhwach. Yhwach was already pissed and raged with mostly this fucking red-haired bitch, spoiled red-haired bitch, wanted his grandson to go back into her damn barrage just to, well, mostly feel good about herself. Just because she has a powerful pawn. This is where, well, mostly Yhwach really just wanted to kill her off, but yeah. But instead, not really wanted to do it at the same time. Because he doesn't know what his grandson is going to do. This is where, well, mostly Issei walked up to mostly, told Jogram to, it's fine right now. And this is where, well, mostly both Rias were, mostly both Issei and Rias were not looking eye to eye or face to face, because mostly Issei had to kind of like lean down a little bit, or mostly kind of just like mostly put his head to an angle to look down at Rias, because Rias is shorter than him. And this is where, well, mostly Issei says, see here, I'm not going to join your barrage just because I found out the truth. Also, Kiba, Akano, and Konako, I fucking hate the fact that I had to help you and your fucking problems. Yes, Issei helped Konako a while ago, mostly like before Kokobell's kind of like destruction and other things. About mostly their kind of problem, but not the point. Also kind of help Gasper, but not the point either. This is where, well, Issei says, I fucking hate how the fact that I had to help a half-breed, a mostly revenger, and a Nekomaru that hates her powers. I don't hate you, Gasper, because you never really did understand about this whole thing, but I hate all three of you, and even Rias. So, before you complain about why I should be working with her, because blah blah, she's my master, you realize here, when Cal, yeah, I think that's his name. When Cal decides to take the sacred gear away out of my body, he also took the evil pieces out of my body. So I'm no longer her pawn. Instead, I'm just a pure bloody Quincy. Mostly, meaning that I'm no longer a demonic creature like you fuckers. Just a Quincy with his sacred gear back. And, well, other than that, if you dare even get near me or even try to attack me, I won't hesitate to kill you in front of me. You see here, this alliance between the Quincies and even devils, it's iffy. You see here, I don't hate you, I do hate you, but I don't want to kill you. So if you dare try to piss me off, I won't hesitate to kill you and destroy this goddamn alliance with all of you. Except for the fallen angels and angels. I don't hate them at all. Understand? This is where we'll see Issei showed a bit of his power right now upon Rias, and Rias right now shiver at the power. This is where we'll see Issei was really not hesitating to actually kill her. Issei said, other than that, I'm no longer a part of the freaking barrage. Also, you can keep the house that your parents decided to recreate the house to make it a mansion, but not the point. You can keep that house. We're moving anyway. Mostly me and my parents are going to move. And yes, mostly my mother and father does know about, well, the whole Quincy. Because, well, my mother is a Quincy. And besides, I don't think you really want to fuck with my mother. Now, of course, mostly Issei did not know at that time about his mother actually knowing truly how powerful she was. But Issei was actually happy for the fact she's that powerful. Because if Rias comes out of nowhere, she's going to have a surprise of a beatdown. Straight up fucking beatdown. But of course, Issei was excited to actually see that. But not the point. Now, of course, this is where, well, he was, that's why mostly Issei and Rias are not in good terms at all. He doesn't care. He hates from the fact that she let him die from Rainer just so he can become a loyal servant for her. And of course, how she had to use her kind of opie and other things to manipulate him to kind of do what she wanted. Of course, she's a spoiled little brat that didn't even train either. He mostly was the one to train. It was him, Kiba, and the others. And of course, they still sat on their ass most of the time and not really train. Of course, Issei was the only one to train to become stronger, but not the point. Now that he surpassed all of them, they basically expect him to still be with them, which is not happening. He does not care. Fuck that and that whole fucking thing. He does not believe in that whole thing. So yeah. Of course, Ozia wanted to kind of like ask Issei if please to kind of go back into the porridge, while Issei looks at her and clearly gave her a straight no and to leave him alone. Because mostly Issei is still kind of friendly with Ozia, but still it's annoying how Ozia is going to try, well, she is kind of manipulated already to follow Rias' command and other things. Which mostly Issei just for some reason hated the fact that Ozia had to be something like that. But not the point. So of course, even though mostly, mostly Mika, Hiro, and even Goto already knows about what happened about Rias and the others, of course, mostly Mika is furious and she wanted to slaughter Rias, but mostly Issei managed to calm her down with the whole thing. But yeah, of course, they no longer have a daughter-in-law no more, from the fact that Ozzy is mostly with the devils and Issei does not have any good terms with the devils, so that's the thing. So yeah, of course, let me go back into mostly into where Issei would be at. So Issei doesn't call up the devils or any of that because, well, fuck that. That's where Issei is, sighing and just thinking what to do. I should also mention that he is hearing music, so of course he's just still thinking while hearing music. So the song he's hearing is called, 10 Million Voices. Yes, that's literally the song's name, but not the point. Of course, I had to find the lyrics because, I can't really, not the point. Pretty much, she just sings, there are 10 million souls who are feeling like you, 10 million more who are finding the truth. Then it feels like you're right where you belong when 10 million voices are one. Lay down this crutch and believe for us yeah, you get the point, right? So of course, while kind of listening to the song, he's just like thinking about mostly all the things that mostly Rias has done for him. So of course, it's not really that much things, and of course, he really doesn't like her at all. Pretty much, she's just a spoiled little brat that he really doesn't like. This is where, mostly he has not really found an interest in love. Well, an interest in love, like true love, instead of like lust love, because, that was pretty much what he felt against mostly Rias and Akano. Not really like true love. Well, he did felt for it a little bit, but it was mostly lust love. So of course, this is where Issei was the only one to get full for that. But of course, this is where he really didn't have any like truly like relationship love with mostly Ozzy. He only saw her as a little sister, not really much of anything else. So of course, that's not a thing that he truly liked. He didn't like, Koneko at all, like that way. Mostly he wasn't that interested at all. Because, of course, she is literally a little kid to him. And she is basically now 16. Well, she's still 16. He's 18, so of course that's not happening. So, whatever. Of course, he also kind of doesn't see Irina that way that much, or even Zenobia, because, he did meet Zenobia, and Zenobia did kind of try to question him to have mostly children, to kind of have someone from the church, and mostly who is a devil now, and of course someone who's a Quincy like him, and supposedly a dragon, who has his dragon sacred gear, to have children so they can make such powerful. That's where you say deny her in an instant, literally said fuck no, because it was quite annoying. Because Issei is not going to go that low to kind of have a child with just someone random and annoying, but yeah, not the point. But of course, there was also Irina, who he did bump into mostly the meeting, and of course Irina was just shocked to see him. Now of course she is with the angels, but of course she was happy, but she was furious at mostly Rias and what mostly Issei said. She wanted revenge. She wanted to kill her in an instant, but Issei managed to stop her in an instant, telling her to calm down. Because mostly Issei doesn't hate the angel faction because, they really didn't do anything to him. Well, I mean, other than kicking out Ozzy, which pissed him off, but not the point. He doesn't really hate the fallen angels that much, unless we talk about mostly the White Ones incident, but not the point. And of course, mostly Rainer entering, but not the point either. This is where, well, we kind of just mostly go into Issei just thinking of all that. This is where he's laying on, well, not laying, he's mostly sitting on a bench and kind of putting his legs upon the other bench side and just like thinking right now. He really doesn't have that many people that he likes at all. He truly, the only reason why he wanted a harem is just to kind of have a like big family. Right now, he's just thinking in, does he still want the harem or not? This is where, well, mostly someone in his head kind of says, hey, partner. This is where Issa says, Diedrich, do you need something? This is where, well, his partner says, yes, I do. Are you truly the true partner that I had? Or are you a faker? Issa said, what the hell are you talking about? I never heard Issei ever said that he doesn't want a harem. Issei drops and says, shut up for a second, Diedrich. I'm being serious. I don't truly think I want a harem right now. At all. Not really the case, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly we go into Issei kind of just switch up and just telling Diedrich to fuck off. So, of course, mostly Issei decides to fully lay on the bench and not really care. Having mostly his legs up, and this is where, well, he doesn't really care showing any proper manners. Because whatever. This is where, well, Issei pulls out his phone and is right now kind of like looking at the music that he wants to play next. But yeah, the other musics that he's actually hearing is mostly usually rock or metal songs, but not the point. So mostly the song that he hears next is called Hated You from Hell. So basically Hello. So yeah. You might think it says hello, but it's mostly hell, but not the point. But this is where, well, mostly Issei's hearing that song until he felt like he got mostly someone tap on his shoulder, which he turns around in an instant, or mostly just kind of like leans his head to the back to see who exactly just tap on his shoulders. And what he sees is basically three girls, one that he's seen actually kind of working at a clothing shop, and the other two is a girl with pinkish hair and of course kind of having like these pinkish reddish eyes. Of course, well, mostly there's another one who kind of has brownish hair but messy a little bit, and of course having like kind of pale-ish eyes and glasses. This is where, well, they all have quite interesting curvature kind of figure assets and other things on their body, but not the point. This is where one is wearing the uniform somewhat, well, not really wearing the uniform, mostly she just got out of shift a while ago, but not the point. And of course the other two seems to not be working right now, but they are kind of just with the brownish hair girl named Moriyama. Issei says, shit, you can't be fucking for real. Issei tries to get up in an instant before he gets his collar grabbed by Moriyama, which mostly Issei says, shit. This is where Issei turns around to just see mostly Moriyama, Aika, and even, Aika and even Catherine. Issei says, fuck. 3 people that I didn't want to see right now. That's where, well, mostly Issei managed to grab Moriyama from the arm and kind of twist it a little bit just so she can let go of mostly his coat, mostly his like collar, and kind of just gets up in an instant, kind of just managed to walk away from them in an instant. Just a couple of feet. Issei was actually shocked, annoyed, and of course just really dumbfounded. The reason why is because, well, first of all, why exactly are they kind of just like staring at him? This is where, well, mostly Catherine decides to question at Moriyama in an instant, saying, are you okay? This is where, well, Moriyama says, yeah, I'm fine. He didn't really hurt me too much. He just kind of managed to kind of like squish something, mostly press on a pressure point, so he didn't hurt me too much. This is where, well, mostly Catherine nodded and says, still, are you really sure this is Issei? Yes, he is Issei. This is where, well, mostly Aika says, are you really sure? Let me look at his, well, mostly at his third leg then. And this is where both Moriyama and Catherine sweat drops. This is where Moriyama says, besides, if it is Issei, he would have a 7. But if it's not Issei, he will be, let me look at it. This is where, well, mostly Aika had some blood kind of dripping from her nose in an instant. And of course, well, she was expecting maybe Issei might have grown like an inch. But truly not in that case at all. This is where, well, she starts dripping from blood to the ground. And this is where, well, mostly both Moriyama and Catherine say, are you okay, Aika? This is where, well, Aika says, this is where, well, she passes out there. Wow. This is where, well, they were confused in what exactly she said. And this is where, well, mostly Issei sweatshops. Of course, forgetting about Aika's, the fact that she can actually see into his pants to see exactly what his third leg is. This is where, well, Issei sweatshops at that. She probably already saw his kind of like link. But of course, well, he doesn't really care too much exactly because he's not truly perverted, so of course, and he doesn't really want to brag about it neither. He doesn't care too much. But this is where, well, mostly both Moriyama and Catherine just looks at each other and just looks at Issei. This is where Catherine decides to speak up and says, "Yo, you're Issei, right?" Issei shaked his head, saying, well, mostly shaked his head to the right and left and said no. And this is where Catherine says, "So what is your name?" "Raikiku Ishirin." This is where, well, mostly he said confidently. This is where, well, mostly Catherine says, "Really? So let me see some ID then." This is where Issei says, "Shit." This is where, well, mostly Issei decides to kind of snap his fingers behind him and kind of just add a bit of reality. Someone appeared really fast behind him and gave him a card behind him in an instant. This is where, well, mostly Issei decides to, well, use one of his abilities to kind of stop time in an instant, because he actually found out that he can actually has another ability of an S. And this is where, well, it's kind of called, well, mostly not S, it's mostly T, and it's actually called time manipulation. So of course he can just stop time in a certain kind of just domain or link, or not the point. He only stopped mostly time for both Moriyama and Catherine, so they wouldn't actually see what exactly Issei's doing. Issei noticed the card and noticed his ID, his new ID, and this is where, oh, Issei switches up and says, "Hey, it's perfectly new now." This is where he then unfreezes time, and this is where, well, mostly Issei says, "Sure, here." This is where, well, Issei was passing it towards him, and this is where, well, mostly they took it and just look at the ID and notice it to literally have the name differently. The face, or mostly the whole kind of like look-alike face, to kind of be also the exact same thing, having dark shades and also having a mask, which just confuses the shit of them, and how mostly this person managed to get that, and yeah, into the picture, but not the point. But of course, where, well, mostly they are just looking at him and back at mostly the IT, and this is where, well, mostly Catherine and Moriyama says, "Right, this is real, right?" This is where, well, mostly Aika gets back up and says, "Huh? What is real? Oh, let me check." This is where, well, she looks at the IT and can tell that it kind of does look real. This is where, well, she then kind of just like ask an officer to come over here, mostly like a, not an officer, mostly a kind of like, mostly like security guard, and this is a security guard says, "Yes, there, lady." This is where, well, mostly Aika says, "Can you check if this is real?" This is where the security guard right now scans and says, "Yeah, it's real, legit right there." This is where, well, mostly Rikyu Ishida, "Yeah, that's real." This is where, well, mostly Aika nods and says, "I see." This is where, well, mostly Aika just tosses it back at Issei. Issei catches it, and Issei says, "Other than that, I don't know. I really do not know why you people keep calling me Issei." This is where, well, or mostly keep thinking that I'm this certain person that you people talk about. Issei really doesn't say Issei that much. And this is where, well, mostly Moriyama says, "Yeah, right. Can I check your mostly wallet?" Issei says, "I'm not gonna give you my wallet like I'm an idiot. First of all, I don't know if you're gonna take my money, so no." This is where Issei grabs his wallet and right now put his ID in it, and this is where Issei says, "Other than that, bye. I need to go right now and look for my family." Issei walks away without actually trying to look normal and not be nervous as fuck, because he is nervous as hell. But yeah. Now, the security guard walks away. Now, the security guard was not a normal security guard. He was actually kind of a Quincy. This is where the Quincy disappears in an instant, never to be seen again. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, that's the thing. Pretty much Yhwach decides to kind of, or not Yhwach, mostly Issei was the one to kind of see into the future. It's just alternate to kind of make a Quincy kind of like become a security guard, but not the point. But that was the only reason why, to make it legit. So mostly they will not question him too much. But yeah, of course we go into mostly Issei kind of eating some food when his parents went out the point, and them getting out of the mall after a while. But yeah, it was such an annoying fucking thing to deal with. But yeah, But of course, the whole day kind of went fine after that. They went back to the mansion house. Now, the mansion house kind of looks like this. Let me show you. So this is how the house will look like, mostly the mansion. It will be a little bit much bigger and wider, but not the point. And also a little bit taller, but yeah, not the point either. Mostly this is how the back will look like, but yeah, there'll be a huge ass pool, but not the point either. But the reason why it's super huge and super big is because mostly, what's it called? Issei has about like a couple of rooms, mostly lots of rooms, lots of space most of the time, but not the point. Now, of course, Issei is sweatshopping. Of course, he can still get to Kuo from mostly this place, but this place is not really in Kuo exactly. The mansion is actually somewhere else, much more secretive, and of course, just so devils and fallen angels do not need to follow Issei too much, because you just have to make a portal to get here. So yeah. Of course, that's the way his parents also do. Mostly his father doesn't use a portal. Well, he doesn't use a portal similar to that of a Quincy. He's not a Quincy entirely. He's actually a hollow, mostly a hollow human. So entirely, he's actually like a full bringer, but not entirely. He is mostly able to use a hollowified mask. Like similar to that if like a Shinigami was able to get the powers. Because mostly his father is kind of considered to be a Shinigami. But mostly like a human Shinigami, kind of hollowish. He's not Ichigo, so yeah, he's not like Ichigo and that, but not the point. Mostly his father's just kind of, well, he's not a, yeah, no. His father's not a Soul Reaper. He is just like a hollow, so he's like a Fullbringer kind of user. But of course, that's why his like mostly Issei's grandfather does not like Goro that much, just because he's a hollow user most of the time. And of course, mostly the Quincy do not like the hollows at all. Of course, Mika does not care, and she married him because he was kind of nice, not because of his race. So yeah. Of course, Issei is actually half hollow, half Quincy. That's why he does have the hollowish powers, but never uses them because, well, mostly it would be kind of weird, kind of. He doesn't know exactly how his hollow powers will work with his Quincy powers because they're quite the opposite to actually use them. But I'll mention how they will mostly the hollow powers work, but not the point. Mostly Issei, he is now just kind of, well, at the house, and this work well. With that happening, Issei kind of sweatshops and having to go to school tomorrow. But yeah, he just doesn't want to. But of course, well, his grandfather chuckles and says, "Well, you're gonna have to go to school." It's quite interesting, don't you think? It's been almost 1 year since the last time you went to school. Issei says, "Do not tell me about that, my grandfather. I do not want to go back to school. Please, please, let me go back to mostly Quincy school. It was so much easier there. Please." This well, mostly his grandfather chuckles and says, "No, Issei, you're gonna have to go back. Don't worry, I'll send some people there to kind of make sure for you to be okay." That's where Issei says, "Is that going to be Jogram?" "Nope." Issei sweats up and says, "Is that going to be Elite Bazabi?" "Unless you want chaotic chaos always in the school. I don't think you want that." Issei says, "I mean, this is where, well, mostly Mika says, "Huh? Did I hear something?" This is where, well, mostly Issei and Yhwach says, "No." This is where, well, mostly Mika says, "Okay, well, I gotta go back to the kitchen, okay?" This is where, well, mostly Yhwach says, "I told you to no." This is where, well, he says, "Then who exactly?" "Ooh, is it going to be Quill?" "No, he's too old, unless he can be a teacher, but not the point." This is where, well, mostly Issei sweats and says, "Then who? Please tell me it's actually going to be someone who is actually chaotic." This is where mostly Yhwach chuckles, seeing how his mostly grandson is. His grandson might look calm in the outside and mostly stoic half the time, but his grandson is not that way. His grandson is way too chaotic half the time for anyone's liking, so yeah. So with that happening, mostly Yhwach chuckles and says, "Don't worry, you will see tomorrow." Issei sweats up and says, "Fine." This is where Issei melts down like a goddamn pile of pudding on the ground. This is where, well, his grandfather chuckles and just grabs Issei pretty easily, because Yhwach is much stronger than Issei. Well, much stronger than he looks like. Not than Issei, but mostly he just grabs Issei pretty easily and just carries him like a sack of potatoes, but not the point. Issei is just being dragged by his grandfather, which he doesn't care and just doesn't mind it either. But of course, well, mostly they go to the kitchen, and of course, well, mostly Mika explains in what exactly is going to happen with him and his, what's it called, education. So instead of going into him becoming a third year-ish, just like any normal person, because he's 18 now and not 17. So of course he also does have the education of already mostly the second year. Mostly Mika want him to still become a second year, but this where that would be impossible. So mostly he said you need to talk to a devil named Sona Sifri to kind of mostly change his classes and other things. This is where of course this is where they also gotta change the documents and other things because he's now 18, so entirely That's where Issei nodded. Of course, Mika is so saddened from the fact her baby boy is now 18 and now a man instead of being 17 and still a child. Which she cries. But this is where, Goto managed to pat her down and just calm her down a little bit. But yeah. Of course, the next day did happen after Issei managed to go up to his room and fall asleep. But this is where, Issei did wake up the next day and then kind of get ready. Now, of course, Issei's wearing his blazer uniform. So, of course, instead of having the white kind of striped blazer, it's kind of just black because, he does need to actually ask, what's it called? Sona for a different uniform, height and size and not the point, but yeah. But this is where Issei's wearing blackish pants. This is where he's wearing a blackish kind of like, mostly blackish kind of like turtleneck kind of, not blackish turtleneck. It's kind of a grayish turtleneck, long sleeve, but not the point. This is where underneath his black blazer, but yeah. This is where Issei decides to also wear a black mask and also his black shades. Mostly, there's also, they did kind of get like a disability thing. The reason why Issei needs those shades, but yeah. But mostly that was just made a while ago, but not the point. Just so the teachers don't make him take off his glasses, but yeah. And Mika did tell mostly Issei if the teachers did try to make him take off the glasses, just call her and she'd go down there and teach them like bastards a lesson or two. Here's where Issei swears up and really does not want to call his mother because his mother will probably go into a murder rampage and kill on any teacher who dare piss her off. But yeah, here's where Issei nodded and just kind of swear drops. But of course, we'll love to see that anyway. But not the point. This is where mostly we go into Issei kind of just telling his parents bye, and of course he's going now to school. This is where he makes a portal and disappears. But yeah. But we go into Issei getting towards Cool. Issei gets to mostly an alleyway, gets out of it, and gets towards Cool's location, but yeah. So the song he's hearing right now after kind of going to school, mostly entering the gates, it's going to be Want You, featured by this and made by mostly, you get the point. But of course, mostly Issei walks into school after getting out of the alleyway, and this is what, everyone in the entire school is right now like paying attention towards Issei because they did pay attention towards a couple of people that actually entered the school to be kind of new students. But this is where they are actually shocked to see an actual pretty boy. Now, of course, his mostly prettiness actually is able to rival Kiba, but of course, or not prettiness, mostly his handsomeness, but not the point. But this is where a lot of girls are just interested and shocked. Now, of course, mostly we go into Issei getting towards the student council after a while, and this is where, Issei does knock at the door. This is where, someone just says, wait, you want to come in. This is where, mostly Sona just decides to sigh because, she's actually having a troublesome time with these people that are right now in front of her, and now there's someone else who's now knocking at her door. She just decides to let him in. Now, of course, where Issei says, hey, Sona, I need to talk to you about... I see you having a problem here. I should come back. This is where, mostly Sona gets up and to see mostly Issei and say, Issei, also, where the hell is your school uniform? That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I need a different height, size, and clothes, but not the point. I can see that you're having a troublesome time with, those. Issei literally points at mostly like 4 people entirely. Mostly those 4 people is one girl with like silverish white hair and goldenish eyes. Of course, she's none other than the White Dragon Empress. And of course, mostly someone kind of like right beside her who has kind of blondish, goldenish hair with mostly greenish eyes. And of course, she seems to have the same beauty as mostly like the Greek god, mostly the, Greek god of beauty and lust and love and whatever stuff. mostly Aphrodite, but not the point. This is where, well, next to her is a girl with kind of like bluish, kind of like icy blue hair and like icy blue eyes with a kind of like palish white skin. This is where, well, she does have like a cold kind of stare a little bit. And this is where, well, to behind them is a girl that mostly Issei saw, to mostly purplish, like darkish purplish hair with mostly starry white eyes, but of course where they're like purple at the same time. And this is where, oh, she then kind of noticed Issei, and that's where, well, mostly Issei says, so, yeah, you seem to be having a troublesome time with them. I'm gonna be going. I'm gonna just go to my class, okay? I'll talk to you later. Someone says, wait, no, Issei, can you come back here? Issei says, I'm gonna go, okay? Issei just opens the door behind him and closes it, right now just walking away entirely. Issei says, yeah, no, I'm not gonna fucking mess with that neither. Yeah, Issei just fucking walks away entirely, like he does not want to just deal with that shit. This is where Sona just says, fucking great. So Issei comes back, but he doesn't want to help. And then I have the Chaos Brigade right in front of me. God damn it. This is where, well, she didn't notice, well, there's only 3 people in her kind of like room now, and realized that the White Dragon Empress is gone. This is where she pales at the fact maybe the White Dragon Empress is going to try to fight the red one, again being Issei. Issei is right now getting to his class, but this is where before he even gets to his class, he had to dodge an attack from mostly, well, none other than the white one. Issei says, ah shit, I knew the battleship crazy maniac would not let me go. Damn it. This is where almost before Issei can even dodge or react, he gets tackled down in an in-team by none other than, well, the white one. Issei smashes down to the ground and gets angry and annoyed, which mostly Issei wanted to actually attack her in an instant until he noticed her face being reddish entirely. Issei says, what the? This is where mostly, well, Diedrich was kind of shocked and interested, but of course, this is where before he can even say anything, mostly the white one decides to speak out. Before you just go and leave, I want to talk to you about something. This is where, well, mostly says, I don't really want to talk to you about it. Shut up. Okay, fine. This is where, well, mostly Issei says, can we at least get up? This is such a weird position. This is where, well, mostly, well, Valerie decides to look at Issei, and right now, not even like let Issei kind of like get up and anything. She instead lay down on top of his crouch. This is where almost he crouch. This is where, well, which made Issei blush in an instant, saying, what are you doing? This is where, well, he's trying not to rise up from the undead, and this is where, well, mostly Valerie blushes and says, shut up, listen to me, I want to just tell you something. This is where, well, mostly says, what's that? I like you. This is where mostly Valerie said. Well, Issei blushes in an instant with white in his eyes, and of course something that did arise from the dead. But for right now, I'm going to end it off here for part 4 of this What If. Other than that, bye, see you, and yeah. So I'm going to leave you off on a cliffhanger. No, nothing, well, no, I'm not going to go on plus 18 for next What If, but not the point. But other than that, let me just kind of go off here and just tell you to see you guys. And other than that, but my throat is starting to hurt a lot, mostly from the fact that I'm dry as hell. But yeah, other than that, bye, see you, and yeah.